share, like, or start a watch party because we're here and we're ready to um we're ready to talk. We're ready to talk. And so, as you can see, we have our sister Marlon with us again, always my co-host. And then tonight we have a very special guest, one of my dear sister friends in Christ, in love, and just everything. Tiffany Barber. We go back a long, 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 long way. We have been friends for so long. We are prayer partners. We're sisters in love, and we're just so thankful and blessed to be in each other's lives, and that saying that we can have this spiritual bond, this great bond that we have in sisterhood. So welcome, Tiffany. We're so glad to have you tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and jump and let Marlon um, talk to you guys about or just introduce our topic for tonight. There you go, Marlon.
Okay, tonight we're going to be talking about being grateful while growing, but also being grounded and grateful while growing. And so that's basically the topic, especially with it being a new year. Happy New Year, everyone. Everyone at the beginning of the year becomes very goal oriented, whether it's about, manifesting things that we put off, or as simple as sustaining or maintaining or losing weight that we gained over the holidays. Whatever it is, we know there's a renewed energy. So I think it's imperative that we have a conversation about how to be grateful and to be grounded while we're in that process of growth. Because many times what can happen is we become so focused on the goal. And although it's really good to be goal oriented, there are things that are happening in the midst of us manifesting that we tend to miss if we don't start off in being grounded and in being grateful for every single thing. Even getting up and washing our faces in the morning, having gratitude as the water touches our face, because there are people in other countries who don't have access to clean water. As we're making our cup of coffee or a cup of tea in the morning, for that process, being able to smell the aroma of the tea, hearing your kids play in the background, even when they decide that they're going to get loud because you're on a live broadcast. There, it needs to be gratitude in that, because that means that their laughter and their love is filling your home. And so understanding that the goals that we want to manifest are beautiful, and we should be focused on them, but we also have to be grateful and grounded in the process. Because if we're not able to be happy now in the process, truth is you will not be happy when you manifest.
Wow, that's good.
So that's our conversation.
Mm-mm.
I'm on mute. I didn't know I was on mute. I'm sorry. Uh, so Tiffany, what do you when you think about like gratitude and growth? What are some of your thoughts before I jump in? Go ahead.
Mhm. Wow, gratitude and growth. I mean, that is, like you said, that was that key part where you have to stay grounded in both of them, because it's one thing, we love to grow, we love to, we're grateful, but that was neat, that little piece to say staying grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One, because you know, gratitude to me, I'm grateful every day. Like she said, taking those little times to thank God for the little things. I have been hit with some things, last year, like everybody else, and even the year before, back to back issues, where it wasn't a lot to be grateful for in a sense. But then you start looking at all the other things that God is doing. Like she said, getting up in the morning, having your faculties, and all those things. It's always room for growth. It's always room for gratitude. It's always room to give God praise. Like there's always something you can think about that He has done for you. He packages a gift for us every day. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's where I stay in that mindset of God. You still have a purpose and you have a plan. And you said brand new mercies every day. If he don't do nothing else, he's gonna do that mercy
Yeah.
every day. You know what I'm saying? So there's always something to be grateful for. But that grounded in growth, um, when you are, and that helps you to stay that way, because when you're going through things and they're coming in on you, we call it being blindsided. Sometimes you just get blindsided by life, and it causes those things, because Romans said all things work together for the good. So it's going to work for your good as long as if you keep going through it. But you have to have a mindset of, yes, this is going to work for my good, but staying grounded is knowing that God is with me. God is going to see me through this. Staying grounded and understanding that you're not alone in it, and that you're going to be better on the other side if you just give it time. So that's what I think about the grounding piece. It kind of keeps you in the mindset of thinking, okay, this might not be looking good, but it's going to turn out for my good.
Right, that's so true. It is true. And I was when I was thinking about this topic, and I was just reading some things, and thinking about how gratitude. When we think of gratitude, people sometimes don't even get the connection of that spiritual growth part of that gratitude, and what it means just to be grateful for what we have, and who we are, saying, and then who God created us to be. It's just like Marlon said, like being grateful that you have clean water to just splash on your face, or being grateful to smell the aroma of tea, because when you have that opportunity, because sometimes people don't have that, what I'm saying, and it's not until you meet someone sometimes that wish they had what you had, that you start to feel grateful. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that you have to meet someone, or someone tells you their testimony for you to realize how grateful you are for what you have,
Absolutely.
and those type of things. And so, um, so when I was looking and I was reading, um, and it was talking, I had stumbled on this article that talked about gratitude, the secret to spiritual growth that no one talks about. What I'm saying? And I was just like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And
Mhm.
it was just talking about how in reality we do overlook it, what I'm saying, and we do overlook how being grateful is how it's so connected to your spiritual growth. And when
Mhm.
we learn how to be just grateful, for the little small things that we overlook in life, what I'm saying, the things that we don't, that we take for granted. And so, in so many times in places, we take God for granted. It's just like my supervisor said the other day. She said, it's interesting how sometimes we could just take for granted the fact that we will wake up in the morning with all our faculties in place, and that that we will wake up breathing, we'll wake up being able to talk, we wake up being able to move. And then we do that, we're not even grateful and thanking God. I think, I'm thankful for breath. What I'm saying? So this morning I downloaded this app called Shine, and it's just asks about your daily rituals and things like that, and it asks what is something that I was grateful for today. What I'm saying? And after I did my meditation, I realized that today I was grateful for breath, for being able to stop and take a deep breath in and let it out, and just release, like, you know
Mhm.
and just ready to start my day. What I'm saying? So I
Mhm.
was thankful just for that breath, and being able to, take that deep breath in and exhale, and just woosah for a minute. What I'm
Right.
saying? And then I saw on the news yesterday when they said, taking a deep breath, inhaling and then exhaling, it kind of well, it says it does something to your nervous system. It, like, regenerates it or something like that. It kind of like puts it back into kind of place or whatever. So I was just like, hey Robin, good to see you as always. So I was like, today I was grateful for the breath, you know. Hey. Aren't you grateful for your kids, Marlon? Looking over your shoulder.
And helping me fix the computer that I don't know what to do. I'm like, come here. I put it on mute, like, fix this. The screen just split. What do I do?
My kids set me up too. I didn't know what was going on.
Yes, grateful. Yes.
Yeah,
So I'm
grateful
like,
for the kids.
that's like,
But
I
you know,
was
you feel a little more grateful when you understand. First of all, you have to understand the orientation of the thing. It's like, okay, when you understand the vastness of God, his power, his position of kingdom, and what his plan is for our lives, and who he is as king and Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Like the angel says, who are they that you are mindful of them?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why did you provide all of this stuff? They go right past your trees every day. They don't even acknowledge that sunset that you took a he's like an artist, and just make all these great things for us. And a lot of times we just go right back past those things. My youngest daughter, she's very sensitive. She'll be, Mommy, look at that. Did you see how that tree just did that? Or that? She has that heart for that. She keeps in remembrance of just the little things.
Mm-hmm.
What we call little things, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And just grateful for when you said grateful growth, Marlon, I was thinking about because as humans, we think as growth, we skip the growth process. We want to see the bloom. We want to see the flower at the end. But what God was showing me was that when you think about a seed going into the ground, the miracle part of that whole process of growth is the fact that this seed goes into this soil, and all of the miracle part happens underground where nobody gets to see it, nobody gets to applaud it, nobody gets to see any of it. And so this seed actually loses its coat, and it loses coatling, it goes down, and then the roots that come out of it, they don't go up like you're expecting everything to come up so you can see it. You want to see the bloom. The first process, and it goes down. It takes root. Yeah. And that's a miracle in itself, that it would know to go down, take root, and then absorb the nutrients of the ground that is already set in motion by God. And then that is the miracle. What we see is when the bloom, when the stem comes up, and we just applaud in the bloom.
Yep.
And it's the same thing when Jesus, when he was on the cross and then he died, the miracle happened when he died, when he was in the tomb. That was the miracle. When he took hell and the keys, and he took the authority back for us, and we applauded when we saw him. And it was like, why are you gazing in the air? The work was done in the ground. But we don't like the processy part, because we don't get to, one, it doesn't feel good. One, you're going to lose. You're going to have to shed some coat. You're going to have to make some different process, but we want to see the outcome. Like you were talking about that manifestation, Marlon, when you saying that part. And that's what we always applaud. But we don't applaud our process. Those things that we're going through, that things that hurt so bad. But if we know that God has the process and that God is with us, then he's more than what we're facing. And in that's when we can say, well, God, I thank you. This might not be where I want to be, but thank you, I can lay my head down. This might not be the money I want, but God, I thank you that I'm eating today. This might not be the meal I want to eat, but thank you for this meal I'm eating today. And then you can start seeing that, having that reality of that, okay, he is with me. But it takes that first perspective of knowing who he is, who all of him, having an honor for him, and to say he don't even really have to do all this, but he does.
You know what? I love that analogy. Took me of that of the seed. Go ahead, Marlon.
No, I was saying absolutely. So many times in the growth process, it feels so uncomfortable. And that's literally that part where we have to go down into the earth and get the nutrients. And so to get from one process or one level to the next, I think when you're growing, you always have to go back to the root, no matter what that growth is. And I think we forget that is a part of the process. And so it feels so uncomfortable, because here I am looking for this bloom. Come on now, bloom. Where is it? Where the flowers? Is it spring yet? Is it spring yet? And it's so many times, God is like, no, baby, because if your roots aren't strong, honey,
You ain't gonna
the
change.
growth that you get and that flower that you manifest is gonna blow off. So go back down. And I promise you, this morning when I woke up, I was like, I remember being a little girl and being in Jamaica, raised by my great grandmother. And our knees had to hit the ground every morning when we woke up. It wasn't no praying on the bed. It wasn't no sitting up. It was
on your knees.
And so this morning I was like, you know what? There's certain things that I have to put back in place. That humbleness of hitting my knees to the ground and giving thanks as soon as I wake up, not touching no phone, not checking to see what's happening on Google News. None of that is my business. My gratitude is my business. So going into prayer, and then after praying, going into meditation, because I feel like praying is me talking to God. Meditation is me being able to listen and hear and understand what's going on throughout my entire body, from the crown of my head to the sole of my feet. I need to figure out the energy, what is taking place throughout my entire body. And as I'm doing that and I'm connecting with my different crystals and doing my breathing and seeing what comes up and what doesn't come up, then I'm able to be like, okay, now I can start my day. And what I have to realize, or had to realize, is I am literally living exactly the life that I prayed for and manifested today.
Wow.
But so many times I'm on that next level thinking, I'm ready for the next step. And so what's happening is I'm not being grateful to God for what it is that I already have been blessed with. I'm crying and scraping and getting to more, not realizing here you are with every single thing you prayed for. From the way I'm spending my day in healing, the way I'm able to spend time with my children, the way they're growing up so beautifully. There is nothing that I'm living in my life that isn't what I asked for. But yet I find myself falling out of line and falling out of gratitude and not being grounded because I am ready for that next level. And I had to check myself.
Yeah,
that's so good.
I totally know what you mean, because I was there when COVID happened, you know what I'm saying? And as COVID went through, and just like you said, you are literally living what you prayed for. This is what I prayed for. You know what I'm saying? I prayed to be at home where I could be working on my businesses, to do that, you know what I'm saying? And look at the blessing in it, that I'm at home, I'm still working my job, you know what I'm saying, and still doing ministry, you know what I'm saying, and still growing in, my business and things like that. And because when I was like, how long are we gonna be home, and all this kind of stuff, and then God was just like, you know how long you've been praying for this moment? Do you remember how long you've been praying to be home, not have to be getting up, pushing the clock, all that kind of stuff, and now you're in it. So what are you going to do with it? Because I'm telling you, the first couple of weeks or month or so with COVID, I was binge watching. I was just like I was just like, you know what? I'm just resting. I'm not doing nothing. I'm doing my work. I am working, but still like, and then the Lord was just like, wait a minute, you forgot that you prayed for this. So then what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And that's when I said, okay, let me get Thrive back on the thing. Let me get breaking the silence, and doing those things. And then I said, it's like, being grateful for the things that we're not even paying attention to. And God was just like, there's so many answered prayers that He's already answered, but because we're so ungrateful that we don't even see the mercies that He gives us every day.
Hallelujah.
Because we're so ungrateful, we don't even see that He's already been answering our prayers. You know what I'm saying? With how many parents or how many pastors are out there that are listening to us, or that's going to listen to this afterplay, that had wished that you had time to spend with your family, that you had time to rest. How many parents are out there that are wishing that they had time to rest, time to spend with their kids, time to fix their marriage, and you've had literally 10, 11 months to do it. So then what are you doing? And are you grateful for the time that God gave you with COVID?
Exactly.
That's so good. That is so good. I mean, this was like I would say in January after after December and everything, I had ended up injuring my foot in January. So I was in a room and I couldn't move. And so when I finally, I was like, God, what is this? I can't do my business. I can't, the homeschool, I got homeschool. I got to get downstairs. I got to homeschool these kids. I got to do all these things. He was like, rest. Every time I come in, he say rest. I'm like, rest. Somebody even gave me a prophetic word, rest. My friend Robin was like, rest. The Lord saying rest. I said, look, I'm resting. How much rest can I do? I can't go nowhere. But he answered me again. He said, after COVID happened in March, he said, now the world is where you are. They can't do their schooling. They can't do no business. They can't do nothing. He was like, I was preparing your mind for what's about to come. I'm preparing your body for what's about to come. And you are so right, Beverly. God, if you're looking for a certain package, then you're going to miss the gift. If you're looking for it to be wrapped in a bow, you're going to miss the gift. Jesus was not wrapped like they thought he was going to be wrapped. He was not. They missed the gift because they were looking. They knew a Messiah was coming, but they got tripped up over the package. And that's what we do. We get tripped up over the packaging. We saw COVID is terrible. People are dying. That's all the stuff that's going on. And we didn't see any of the gift. The gift was rest. I beseech thee, pastors. There was a rest God was giving y'all. Y'all the only ones got to go to church every Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Every Sunday. And they got a chance to get a rest for a minute.
Yes.
Pastors really do need that rest. And we pull on them so much. You know what I'm saying? Even ministers, deacons, and those who work on the 20% of the church, and they got to rest. And we're finding out, and we had a chance to open our eyes. We thought 2020 was going to be, let me see what I'm going to get. No, the Lord was like, let me show you what I have, and let me show you what you have left.
Yeah.
And when our eyes were open, we saw that there was so much that, like you said, Beverly, we were trampling over. We were trampling over time with our children. People drop their kids off at 6:30, 7 in the morning, get on buses, and then they go to school, and then they pick them up for aftercare. After that, they get to the house. Let's say they live close, around about 7 o'clock. You trying to eat dinner, and then this time for them kids to go to bed. What time are we spending with our families? What time are we investing in our children? And that's why it was such a pull, because when everybody came back home, didn't nobody know each other. Nobody really knew each other. And so they had to reintroduce themselves to one another again. And so that was with the husbands and the family. But we didn't see the gift. We just saw we didn't see, I got them home, like you said. I got this time to think about my business, a time to regroup my business. But see, the thing of it was, God also showed me, he said, people keep saying, okay, wait till 2021. But this is the year he's going to call for what he put in you last year.
Yeah.
He said, I want you to see, I want you to recognize, I want you to prepare. Last year was the time to sow. This year is going to be harvest time. This is the time he want to see what you did. It's going to be requiring time.
Yeah.
And so we think, see, we always think victory. I mean, we always think relief over victory. Oh, just get me out of 20.
Yeah.
But that's not always the answer. That's what you were talking about, Marlon, with the growth and trying to, skip that portion of that being grounded. And that's what that reminds me of.
Yes. Yes, Robin, we're talking about gratefulness. Tonight we're talking about gratitude and growth. And Robin said that I know what I know, and I'm very grateful. However, when it's my battle, trial, or test, I had to remind myself of all of the many blessings God has already bestowed upon me. Yeah. Yeah. And when you think about gratitude and growth, it was like when Marlon said it, I was just like, oh, that's great. And then when I said it to Tiffany, she's just like, oh wow, you know what I'm saying? Because so I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm just like listening to our conversation, and I'm just like, gratitude and growth. If there was never a year where gratitude and growth should have been the tagline or headliner, it would have been 2020. because he literally stripped us of everything.
Phew.
And one will say, okay, you know what? I'm taking away your malls, I'm taking away your churches, I'm taking away, saying you going out to eat with your family and friends, you can't visit them, you can't do this and you can't do that. I want to see how grateful you are for what you have right there in the midst of you.
Right. And life is going to do what it do. And like you say, God is not trying to punish us or any of those matters, but because we actually, we make these choices when we take him out of things.
Mm-hmm.
We make these choices when we don't seek him for things. And like you were talking about, Marlon, back to that was so good when you said about getting up in the morning and spending that time with the Lord. Our judgments and our thinking starts there. For me, my thing is I always listen first. And then I start to see where his heart is. And then I can say, Lord, let me just talk with you, on a day when I ain't got to run out. And them days when you want to pray, but you got to pray on your way while you're going. Yeah, I had them days too. I don't know. I know y'all more spiritual than me, but some days I just be running. But right to the kitchen with the kids and doing homeschool and all that stuff. But we always stop, and I was like, Lord, I didn't have a chance to listen to you this morning, but I want you to, sometimes I have to go in and just make my prayer. But that is so key. Mm-hmm. That is so key to be able to hear, because it's like we're like a military. The kingdom of God, we're in his kingdom. Therefore, we need to, like a military, you go in to ask for your instructions. Mm-hmm. Where am I assigned today? What should I do today? What should be my heart today? What part of you should I show in the earth today? You know what I'm saying? Getting those instructions and being kingdom minded will keep us grateful. Being kingdom minded will help us to see his hand and what he's doing. And being grateful for the process that we're already going through. Staying connected to God is always going to be, you got to see what he's doing to be grateful for what he's doing. It's no way, it's really not, like you said, the endorphins in your body even respond to the gratefulness and praise. And so I think that was really key when you said that, taking that time to see where you are. Even like you said, even with your body, like I know you're gonna tell me more about that and how to do all those things. That'll be great with the holistic thing. I mean, I'm totally like ready to know all about that. But the thing of it is like you gotta listen to your body to know what how I feel today. Like, am I okay? I think I'm a little fatigued today, or I think I'm having some daunting thoughts or whatever. What to cast down? What to heal? What to talk about? What to tell my husband? Today my body's doing this, or I'm feeling this, or this. And my kids, I'm gonna tell y'all where mommy's at today. Let me, what I'm saying? Let me just say how I'm feeling today, and this is what I'm doing to combat that. This is the word I'm using today. Agree with me today that I'm on this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? I think that's really good. Thank you for adding that. I really do appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think for me, healing is there's so many facets to healing. And I feel like God gave us so many gifts, but we didn't know that these were the gifts, and we weren't taught that these were the gifts. In Western society, we were given conventional medicine, but there's so many other things that bring about healing to us. Our breath tells us so much about what's happening in our bodies, our connection with our breath, being in the same space and breathing on the same level with the people in the room with you. And I think that, it's this past year, 2020, with everything that was taking place in COVID, I can still go back to what you said about that growth taking place in the soil, right? And so the bloom was the shopping malls, going to the movies, going to church on Sunday. That's all exterior. That's all exterior stuff, but the root of it all is the home. And our homes were being torn apart and broken up because we were on this schedule, this robust schedule to present. Is your paper done for class? Do you have that presentation ready? I have this meeting. I got to get there. And our homes were falling apart. We had our beautiful children that grew inside of our bodies for almost a year, that we gave birth to, who we just tossed off to someone else to take care of because we have to work, right? And we have to do, mind you, I was an educator for 20 years, so I'm leaving my own babies and going and taking the best care of other people's babies. But that's a whole new subject, okay?
We'll go there too,
So now comes the time when the universe, God, the ancestors, whatever it is that we want to call it, gave us the chance to be at home with ours. And at first, everybody was like, you know, but I'm comfortable because I've homeschooled my kids for 3 years. I was like, listen, you know what? Whatever we ain't got, I ain't gonna have it, but I'm gonna take care of mine, okay? So listen, we're gonna be home together. So we knew each other. We understood each other, but the experiences that other people were going through with their own children, I mean, I heard people like, look, I just don't understand why they can't open. I'm like, it's a pandemic. Like, this is a straight not an epidemic, a pandemic. You're really ready to drop your baby off to someone?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This schedule that we were on, it literally controlled our minds, our energies, our spirits. So when we were actually facing the blessings that we prayed for, our own children, we didn't even know what to do.
No.
And so it literally took spending that time, getting into your structure, having your rituals, figuring out what your prayer and your meditation is going to be for the day, so that anytime you find yourself going off because something is happening in Zoom and your kid doesn't understand this, that you can call upon that truth and go to them with patience.
That's right.
And that this is a blessing. Take some deep breaths, connect with your breath, and understand that this is a blessing. And it's not easy, because we have to think about it, you guys. We were trained. Nobody wants to talk about it. Every time a bell was ringing in a school building, we were being trained. That's how you train puppies, with bells. And the reason why they even created schools was to train us so that we would know how to work in a factory. Because when you work in a factory, a bell rings when you're supposed to move from one assembly line to the next. And so here we are in these schools with these bell ringings. Math is over, physics is over, science is over, time for the next. We're giving our children all of these so-called assignments and training their spirits to believe that all these things need to pop up every day and all these stresses. I have a test, I have this. But that's not truly how life functions.
No, and it doesn't have to function like that.
With nature and unison with God, that's not real life. And so we literally found ourselves having to live a real life when we were never trained to live it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's why, you know, when I was reading that article, and I was thinking, when I read a line and it says, when we're grateful, our attitude changes from negative to positive. And so I was like, you know what? I thought about that, and just thinking about 2020, you know what I'm saying? And how, you know, this, you know, COVID came in and just like turned everything upside down to the point where people didn't even show how or recognize the gratefulness in being able to be still. You know what I'm saying? So then the negativity starts to flow, and then you have things that happen, like, you know, saying with all these protests and, you know, movements, and, you know, all this anger out there, all this rebellion out there, all this stuff going on in our cities and our town, and people tearing up stuff, you know, and not realizing the gratefulness that 2020 brought to us. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't resonate to people enough to shift their attitudes. No. To be more positive and thinking that, you know what, I really got to learn. I really had an opportunity to learn about my kids. I really had the opportunity. I was on the brink. You know how many people I know that were on the brink of divorce?
Oh, Lord, we do marriage counseling sometimes, so we understand. We've heard it.
and COVID came and turned that thing around. You know what I'm saying? That, parents that, that did not know their kids and now they do. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, being able to be still, you know what I'm saying? And being able to have time to, watch movies with your family, or being creative during the holidays, what I'm saying? And not doing what you would normally do, what I'm saying? And realizing that the church itself is in you, but not in the building. That God said you don't need the building. You know what I'm saying? All you need is me working on the inside of you. So I want to see how much is my work on the inside of you going to manifest itself, so that you can grow from out of this point and grow and learning to be grateful with the small things that you have. Because if you cannot be grateful with the little things, then how am I going to manifest you to the big things that I want to give you? He said that I would do exceedingly and abundantly above all that you could ask or think, according to the power that worketh within us. If you ain't even grateful for your mustard seed that he already planted in you, if you're not grateful for the measure of faith that he gave you, then how are you going to be grateful with that abundant life? How are you going to be grateful with the power that is already in you if you can't even handle the mustard seed?
Come on, that's so good. That is so good. That is so good. Glory to God, man. I'm telling y'all, got me all excited over here. And
Okay.
this, like Marlon was saying, I had to. We before pandemic, we took our kids out of the school system, and it was just like I was on the praise team. I was in this ministry, that ministry. I was, me and my husband both. And then it was like, then we had the children. They were in their things, and then they were singing places and doing this. We would sing. And I realized, I was like, one day I picked him up from school, and that's when I noticed that, y'all was like, these parents ain't even about to pick their kids up. You know what I'm saying? We were after a program. I saw people just storming in, and then I'm running the kids. Marlon, you'd be so sad to know I be running against some McDonald's trying to feed these children before I got to go to
I get it.
and then I gotta go. And I was like, one day it was like it was just like the grace left. We was dragging children. Come on, get your shoes. Come on, we gotta go. And you said this, and I want you to write this down, because that thing right there you said when you said present, I was licked out this chair. When you said present, and that is exactly what we're doing. We're presenting, and we are not being. And the thing of it was, I was like, I'm tearing my house up, trying to get them to a church house. And I'm like, the kids all ruffled. I'm like, get your shoes. You ain't got today, right now, you ain't got no shoe. Now all day you had a shoe, but right now we ain't got no shoe. And it's like, dang, type of stuff. And we going on, and then I got to, before I even hit the stage, I'm like, Lord, just help me calm down. Help me be here. Help me be in this moment. Forgiveness or anything I might have said, Lord, all this, just running. And it was just and when you said that thing about the school system, I'm going to tell you another thing I noticed. It also is a model for jail. You have to raise your hand and ask where to go. You go on this schedule. They tell you what to do, what time to be there. You can't even go to the bathroom without asking.
How about
do you understand what I'm saying? And so it's like we go outside for recess for a set amount of time, and then you come back inside. See, let me tell you something. I was like, this right here, I just started looking at this whole thing. And I was like, God, what do you want? What do you want us to do? My husband and I prayed about it. We brought them home years ago. But I'm just saying, and then not only just that part of taking them, we had to come out of that same presenting. It was like this grace to do. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a grace to do ministry. Yes, indeed it is. But when you've come out of that sink, you coming out when your house is your first ministry. If that's toe up, you can't do nothing for nobody else. That is the absolute truth. You got to get this first ministry together. The people in your house don't like you. How you going to go up there and then be over talking to other people? Come on. When it starts, how you present at home is where it's going to matter.
Yeah.
And so once we unlocked, and then we kind of got to, because we had always had people live with us. We've always had people, that too. So even now is the first time we've ever been just us at home. And even more we're learning about the children, where they're freer, where they can, all these different things. That family portion that was so illuminated during this time. That was so, like you said, Bobby, that was something God was just blazing to us. And you said this earlier, Marlon, talking about get back to the basics. like back to praying, back to those things, getting back on your knees, like you said, with your great grandmother used to do. Get back to the basics, get back to what was always working. We lost, that's what I'm saying. We lost the honor and the awe of God.
Yes.
That's why we cannot get what we're supposed to have, because you're not going to be grateful for something if you don't even, you're not honoring the giver. You know, right now, if Michelle Obama walked in the room right now, you'd be like, oh my God, because you know who she is and that her time is valuable and she right there giving it to you. So what difference should it be when the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings decides that you still have purpose and he wakes you up in the morning, Tiffany?
Okay.
How do you not wake up with gratitude in your heart and say, how can I serve you?
Yeah.
What can I do for you today?
Exactly.
And in turn, he says to you, grace and mercy. Now, matter of fact, brand new mercy I've given to you this morning. He's always the first giver. And so that's what I have to say. God, I just thank you. If you don't do nothing else in this day, you woke me up. And I have to thank him for and now we got a new start. Even if you just see this broadcast today and you think about the things that Marlon and Bevy have said, you know, it'd be like, okay, today is a new day. I get a chance at this moment, whatever time it is, to start over. Let me put God first. Let me start the basics first. Let me start back with prayer, like Marlon said. Let me start getting in the morning and start to thank God for my faculties and who he is, and giving him praise and worship, and then acknowledging my body. Where am I mentally? Or what am I missing, God? Now, I need your grace to fill the gaps of where I am so I don't give this off to my family. Let me breathe. Let me listen to my breath. Let me think about these things. Let me start setting the atmosphere with praise, with worship, so I can set the atmosphere, because everything around me is listening to my words. I tell my kids all the time, I said the enemy and all of heaven is waiting at your door, waiting at your bed set when you get up in the morning. They just waiting on your words. Angels are standing there with their hands, wings tied back, like, I would really like something to do today. Would you please ask God to command me to go somewhere and do his purpose? They waiting on our words.
Yeah, they are. That's what it's something that, one thing that we always say with all out here in the conversation is that your energy is your own medicine. You know, it's just, bringing that that positive energy that sets your tone for the day, saying, and just being grateful. And when you wake up and you're not, because I know what totally what you're talking about, Tiffany, when you wake up in the morning and you're just like, saying, especially if it was on one of those mornings that you're like really busy, you get up and stuff like that, you get in the car and you be like, dang, did I pray this morning? And then you find yourself praying on your way where you're going. You know what I'm saying? Or praying while you're eating breakfast, or when you bless your food, that's your morning prayer.
That's the start of the day, right?
You bless your food, you give thanks, and you're doing all that all in one whole soup. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, saying, we've been in this hurry to do stuff and hurry to think, and one of the things I wrote down when she was talking about that first ministry about your home, what I'm saying? And then Marlon was talking about back to basics, what I'm saying? And we think about COVID and what 2020 did, what I'm saying? It gave us the opportunity to rebuild that first ministry, what I'm saying? Not in the church, what I'm saying? Not in Sunday school, but to build it right there in your home, in your living room, because then COVID hit and your church became your home. What I'm saying? School became your home. What I'm saying? Mothers and fathers became mentors again. They became nurses again. What I'm saying? They became Bible teachers together again, or whatever. There's no reason why families should not be having devotions in their homes in the morning.
But we have to take responsibility for that, because we forgot to teach the people of God how to cultivate the presence of God in the home. We taught them how to follow the praise team, and then you'll feel the spirit and you'll be right here. But you forgot to teach them how to do that at home.
And that's because we were on that
disconnect between the church and your home. And so we got to teach them how to do that. So going back, we have to really make people understand that connection. And so that when the church is even now broadcasting something or doing stuff, we can still feel connected to the people of God, but you're connected by the Spirit of God. And the word of God, that's all of him is what you're connected by. That's what you know, when you go there and we assemble together, is because we have like spirits. We all on one accord. That's what makes it so, you know, so yummy in the presence of God. But if you and your family get on one accord, no matter where you are, you could be in a safe way. And if you all come on one accord, the presence said you can command the presence anywhere.
Yep.
It does not have to be in a church. And then we kind of got away from that. Now we feel church less, or we don't feel God near, because we never, you know, we have to teach people how to cultivate the presence of God wherever they are.
Yeah. You
And
want to say
I
something?
think there's so many times that we don't realize that energy being your own medicine is so powerful. Why do we think that when your child gets sick, they want to sleep in your bed? Because a mom's energy heals, literally. And so 2 years ago, my mom's fiance passed away all of a sudden. And I knew in my spirit that I had to learn how to do Reiki, because he literally went for a jog in the morning, one of the healthiest, most robust, full of energy person that you would know, and didn't come home from the jog. And I knew that shock, when it hit my mom, that I had to learn how to do Reiki. And Reiki is nothing but thinking positively and sending the energy from your breath to your hands and moving your hands over someone's body. But mommies do that anytime our babies are sick, and we hold them and we pat them. We are sending loving energy, prayer and meditation, and focused energy into their bodies. And we have to understand that touch that a mother gives their baby when they wake up in the morning and you give them a hug or you rub their back, that is medicine that we're transmuting into our children daily. And we cannot negate the power of that. I paid attention to how many educators have passed away, especially women, from heart issues, heart attacks. Heart disease with Black women run rampant, okay? And I watched the pathology of illness. I remember my friend's mom lost her mom, and it literally broke her heart. And she could not get over the loss of her mother. A few months later, she started to have a cough that was so persistent that it wouldn't go away. And then heart issues. When you really think about it, her heart was broken from losing her mom. But we don't learn how to heal the body with our own energy and our own spirit. Just praying and touching your heart and asking God to heal you. Just sending focused energy over any part of your body. We are our first doctors. And mommies are born doctors, because as we're patting our babies and sending whatever, when they fall and they come to you with a boo-boo and you like, let mommy see it. And you give that boo-boo a kiss, you think it don't feel better? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because our loving thoughts and our loving energy has just transmuted from us onto our children. And so we have to understand that not only do we have the power to heal our families, we also have the power to heal ourselves. So anytime we're feeling different ailments in different parts of our bodies, touch it. Pray over it. Send energy to that part of your body. Breathe for 3 minutes. Just send breath and focus breath to whatever part of your body is sending ailments, and your children, because we literally have the power to send healing through our bodies and through our families' bodies.
Yeah, that is true, because it's like when we think about affirmations, and say when I talk about affirmations, and I teach people like the different steps to creating their own affirmations, and one of it is being able to put your hand on that thing or that body part that you need to affirm, in the morning. If it's your heart, for it to be, for that healing, just like Marlon said about just like, asking God and praying God for him to heal your heart, whether it's mentally, whether it's physically or spiritually, or, if you have to put your hand on your head and get this affirmation in your mind, it's like, that I will think positive thoughts today, saying that God, I'm putting my hand on my head because I am affirming, that greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. Say I am affirming that my mind is going to be powerful. Saying I'm affirming that the negative thoughts that are in here are leaving. Saying I'm affirming that today is going to be a positive day and I'm going to keep positivity, in my mind, saying, and those types of things. And, just learning to place your hand on those things that, say may give you pain or just, when I pray and I, sometimes in my prayer, saying when I pray for my body, saying I pray that God's, that he cleanses it, that he restores it, that he rebuilds it from my mind, my spirit, and emotionally, or whatever it is, physically, saying like I pray for my physical mind, I pray for my spiritual mind, I pray for my emotional mind, I pray for my spiritual heart, my physical heart, and my emotional heart, saying because all those things are connected. So putting your hand on those things and affirming, saying that my heart, saying it's a heart full of love and joy. Like God, I want to be able to just love on people and love people just like you do. Saying
Hallelujah.
all
That's
of the
so
time,
good.
saying putting your hand on your heart and affirming that and say that I am love when you
Yeah,
wake up in the morning,
yeah.
saying I am joy, I am peace, saying and
Mm.
just putting your hands on yourself and saying I am worthy, I am strong, say I am a person of self-worth and confidence and affirming those things every morning, saying that's that medicine that your mind needs every day, saying that's that medicine that your spirit needs every day. That's that medicine that your body needs every day. For you even to put your hands on your body when you wake up in the morning and say, God, I'm just grateful for breath. Say,
Yeah,
I'm grateful just to be here. Just
yeah.
say, and
That's so
starting there,
good. Yeah.
you know, and then, and letting it just be that, saying, because we think that God works like a genie. And that he speaks loudly all the time. And then we think that when we do stuff, it has to be big so everybody can see it. It has to be enormous when it could be just simple, small grace, that small little thing that you're grateful for.
That's
Being
right.
grateful for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because somebody that don't have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Say that.
Okay, being
Hmm.
grateful for that. Being grateful that saying that you have someone that can come fix something for you for free because you don't have the money to pay for it. Saying the little things that we should be grateful for. Saying because
Absolutely.
God gives us grace and brand new mercy, just like you say, Tiffany, every day. But we overlook it because just like Marlon said, that the world programs us to think that gratefulness comes from man. Gratefulness does not come, that no,
Mm-mm.
no, that's
No.
not. You know what I'm saying? It's just, yeah. Go ahead, Tiffany.
It, it's so good, y'all. This is yummy. I love this conversation. I'm growing. I'm learning, and also the God had to tell me that my children don't have the same. They what? How did he explain it? He was just saying that their story is not yours. See, because of my story, I'm very grateful because I know I've been somewhere, you know what I'm saying, or I grew up a certain way. So now I have more than what I had growing up. And so I can be grateful. But sometimes your children, we have grown, these children have more, even because of the age we live in, they have more than what we have. And so they're not always saying to themselves, oh, I'm grateful because I got this. They always had. They always eating. They always got clothes. They always got a Christmas. Some of is a person that never had a Christmas. They may not feel the same way. But so I
Mhm.
had to come to them a different way and say, the honor portion of honoring God tells you, be grateful because of who he is and his ability. and the authority that he's given you. And that's what we start with. That's what I do with the authority that I have, like you were saying, Marlon, to touch yourself. And I take authority. I don't need somebody to pray over me. I have the authority. He died, rose, and took all authority. And I have that authority. Greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. I need to wake up the Spirit of God on the inside of me and agree with heaven about what my benefits are. And I say to myself that I am healed. It's like having Geico. You don't go out and have an accident in the street and say, oh, that's terrible. Well, I'll take your information. I'll pay for it later. I'll call you back. No, you call your insurance. You call them and let them take care of it. This is what you paid for. This is a benefit to you. And so that's how we should be about the things of God. If there's something going on in our life, we go and look in our benefits. We go and get in that word and find out what our benefits are. And the benefit is you have authority. And you can speak with God. If you're saying what God is saying, then that's your authority to know that I am healed. That I put that word on my life and I put that word on my mind and my mental, and you stay in that word. And like you said earlier, Marlon, my truth. Stay in your truth. And if your truth that morning is I'm not on it, your truth will help you, because that way nobody in the room is presenting.
Right.
I love that word when you said I love. I might take that. Because we forget a lot, and we don't even, when we're hurting, we don't know how to say I'm hurting.
Right.
And then, what I'm saying? We go, oh, God, I just love you today. He like, can I talk to you about that knife in your back, please? Can we deal with that first? Can we?
Right.
I know you love me. I know all that good, but I want to heal you. I want to be a part of your day. I want to be a part of your life. And then when you let him in, then you can see, oh my goodness, how grateful I should be.
Right.
The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords is my Father. Can we start there? That he loves me, that he cares about me. And even if I don't know him, he sent his son to die for me and want to know me. Whatever mistake I make or have made, or even if I'm thinking negative thoughts, it could be changed just by his word, or just meditating and thinking on some great things, those things which are above. So there's always an answer to it. It's just whether we want to grow and stay grounded. And that keeps us grateful. That's going to keep us grateful. Gratefulness is saying that I am opening myself to the better. Mm-hmm. Because gratefulness opens the door to better.
Mm-hmm.
If one of my girl, I have two girls and a boy, but the girls go to daddy and say, one says, well, he walks in the door and they don't say anything at all. But the other one comes like, hey, daddy, how was your day? You had a good day today? His attention is going to be towards her. Mm-hmm. Praise automatically gets you attention. Mm-hmm. Praise automatically opens up the door. If one had asked for something and the other one had asked for something, the one with praise, you're going to be automatically like, it's a gravitational thing to mm-hmm. praise. It's a gravitational thing to gratitude. We open up God's heart to want to give to us when we are grateful. Mm-hmm. It opens up our mind to get that negative stuff out of our system, because COVID, it's not over, but we're still in this thing, and we still have to look at what is God doing, how wonderful and all the great gifts that he's giving us. Yeah. Every day. Mm-hmm.
And it definitely lets us tap in, because when you start off the morning in gratitude, thank you for my home, a warm home, more than enough to eat, my children being healthy. It doesn't mean that throughout the day that you're not going to meet these things that'll pull you off. You might, right. But because you already voiced that you're grateful, it's like an anchor. Your gratitude is an anchor to pull you back to that center, so that you remember, I started off the day in gratitude. It pulls you right back, and you are able to get centered again and find something else that you need to be grateful for, so that you can make it throughout the day. No one is saying that this is going to be smooth sailing. There are always going to be bumps and highs and lows. But once you are grounded in your gratitude, when the growth comes, it'll just be a part of it. Mm-hmm. It'll continue.
When we were out there, when we had a fire last year, and we were out there trying to look for a place to stay. And we were out, it was raining, the kids was in there with all of what we had left, and we were sitting in the car. I could barely see my little girl's face. She was in the back. And I had to look, perspective is everything. Of course I was angry. Of course I was scared. Of course I was, things were coming at us. We were sitting out there because the hotel arrangements got messed up and we had nowhere to go. And so we're sitting out there and I'm like, but all I could do, I look back in the car and I said, well, God, thank you that we got a van. I guess we're going to be all right. Even if we have to let the car run, we can sleep in here. It really kind of could be, cozy. I mean, you just got to get your mind together in the midst of the mess. You got to. You got to say thank you in everything. Oh, thank you, God, we ain't starving. At least we ate earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't always easy. No, it's not. I've been through some stuff. But you got to just know when you hold, like you say, if you have a truth. Okay, so let's just say it. You got family members that passed away. And you got things going, and that's about the worst thing that can happen. But in that, when we understood that when you say your truth, whatever your truth is, that's what you got to own. And a lot of times when you don't have a truth, get a truth, because that truth will help you in whatever crisis. That's the only difference between people who have a relationship with God and those that maybe don't. Because a lot of times you don't have, or whatever your truth is, it's going to be all right. If that's your truth, hold on to your truth. But my truth is my mother-in-law, she's going on to be with the Lord. And it's going to hurt. But if I hold on to my truth, that time don't stop. And if we just transfer to another place to live it out, then she's still here. She's just on the other side. And guess what? I got to go too. We all do. But if I'm going to lie to myself with the enemy's words and tell him I can't make it, I'm going to die, my heart is about to come out of my chest, and this and the other, if that's when I say, Holy Spirit, help me to process my pain. Come on in here and help me to process my emotions and my feelings. Help me to understand. And that I'm never alone in whatever situation is, even if it's death, even if it's a close loved one or whatever. God is not, he ain't just walk out the room when that happened. He knew that we would suffer those things. And so we always talk about that emotional peace and that, and those things are health and mental health. The enemy is trying to take us out in any way he can. If he can have you left heart sick like your friend, and many times older people, when the husband dies, they end up dying not long after, heartbroken.
Of course.
Yep.
But if I ask God, what's my purpose today? I'm still here. I'm still breathing. So evidently I'm here for a reason. God don't love people that passed of COVID more than he loved us that's still here. The difference is purpose. We actually think we're supposed to be here forever. We're not.
It's the time.
And now you need to be grateful for the days you have and do something with them. That's what I tell myself. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about me.
No, likewise. And also understand that when those tough things happen and those transitions happen of our loved ones, those are the times when I feel God even closer.
He said, I'll be closer to those that mourn. That's the time you really need to be asking him some serious questions, because he closer than he ever go. He said it in his word.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly.
Well, so I asked him some crazy questions during that time. Like, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? Is it like, is it the money out there I'm supposed to do? I mean, what is it, Lord? Tell me something. Because I'm going through enough right now.
Okay, for real. You'd be like, wait a minute, what?
Right. Because I know.
Think something, be like, what is wrong with you? You be talking to yourself, be like, why did you just think that? Get that out of your head. You know what I'm saying? What is going on? It's just, I'm telling you, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about when you got to bring your own self back. You got to tell your own self, stop it.
That's right.
You got
to remind yourself, or you got to remind yourself of the truth. You got to remind yourself of the truth as you, like Marlon was saying, throughout the day, throughout your journey. Like, we just been getting up in the morning, but you might need to take a midday prayer. You might need to go in the bathroom at your job or whatever you got to do and get back grounded again. And remind yourself of what you said this morning. You know, we all have to do that. Or get some good friends in your life that will remind you. We got technology. Put some on your phone to remind you. Because you know how your job is. I don't know how your job is. You know what I'm
I
saying?
got my reminder on my phone because that's what my pastor did. Like for the last part of 2020, like probably from December, so he spent the last 4 to 5 weeks of the year in Bible study, and every week in Bible study, we talked about, praying and praying that 3 times a day, praying in the morning, at midday, and at night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that, what I'm saying? And, he put that challenge out to us, saying like, what time is midday? What time is, early morning? You know what I'm saying? Early morning is really from 6 to like maybe about 10 o'clock or so. And then midday is probably like from 11 to like maybe 2 or 3 o'clock time, and then that after, that evening time is like probably about 5 to 9 or something like that. And doing those prayer 3 times a day, what I'm saying, to the point that I put it's in my phone, saying
That's
it sends me
good.
a reminder. It's 5 o'clock, saying it'll pop up on my computer, time to pray, and those type of things, and just being grateful for even technology to remind us, because we forget
To
everything.
remember.
Where
That's right.
would we
But
be
he's a
without our
friend.
phone?
He's conversation.
Be
He's
like
in conversation with us all the time.
okay.
If I was in the room with you, Marlon, we all together all day, I'm not gonna speak to you. It's like we make it so deep, like we really gotta get on our knees every time we want to pray or whatever. It's conversation all day. I invite the Holy Spirit to go with me to the store. I be like, Holy Spirit, I look over the other seat to be like, Holy Spirit, go with me to the store today. Give me favor, give me wisdom, give me understanding, drop a word on me, let me know something. I be talking to him all day. I'm not gonna have the power of that can raise the dead, and you got access to it, and you not using it.
That's what happened, girl. I'm telling you.
I don't know what these kids need to eat. Help me in the store, because I ain't make no list, Lord. What you need? Let me remember. I mean, I invite him in everything. My mother used to say, just make worship out of washing dishes. Just when you washing dishes, Lord, I just thank you for my dishes. Thank you for soap. Or thank you. Just make it a part of your everyday. You know what I'm saying? We got plenty time to act a fool and cuss and be negative. You know what I'm saying? But those times are going to arise, and challenge you. But like, I just try to just have a conversation in my mind with him. If not, you know what I'm saying, every day, to try to be better. Because I do struggle with having depression. I do struggle with that. I have to make sure that I invest in that part of myself every day. I have to get up in the morning and say to myself, I love you. See, I'm a kind of, Beverly knows my personality. Most people wouldn't even think that I wouldn't have that. They wouldn't even think that about me. They like, you always joking, you always, yeah, but that's how Robin Williams ended up killing himself, and nobody knew what the problem was.
Yep, that's how Kim did.
You can be surrounded by people in the room and feel alone.
Yep.
And there are married people who are alone. You can really feel by yourself.
Have that
If
mask on.
and that's why that what you said, Marlon, about cleansing your mind, being able to take in and meditate on what is good. The Bible says, think on those things which are above. I don't make it without the word. I can't do it. I could not do it. I would be negative. You wouldn't want to be around me. You wouldn't. I got to dip daily in the word. And so I thank God for you guys. I thank God for even being able to, just have this conversation. It was a lot that came out tonight.
We're going to finish this conversation next week